Wow, so that last episode was over 70 minutes. I mean, I know you know that because, person that is listening to this episode, you listened to the last episode, right? Right? So, in preparing for this episode, I was thinking and looking at the topics, do I have enough to talk about in this, for this episode? And then...
But I tell you, if you have a problem figuring out whether you're for me or Trump, and you ain't black.
Okay. All right. We got enough now.
From the highways of America, here's the podcast where we talk politics, a little entertainment, some culture, and this and that, from the road to your ears. This is Trend Chat with your host, Brian Bledsoe.
And welcome to another episode of Trend Chat. I'm your host, Brian Bledsoe, and if you want to connect with us, we're on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, Snapchat, or TikTok. It's all the same at Trend Chat 24/7. We are available on most popular podcast outlets, also trendchat247.com. So, I was just going to say this at the beginning: like, share, and subscribe. Tell your friends, and let's continue to grow. That's something I tend to say at the end when I remember it. Also, something I don't mention often is our email is trendchat24. Ooh, wow, what was that? Trendchat247 at gmail.com. So, I wonder if I can I'm gonna try to edit that out. I had to edit this part out, but okay. Anyway, so also before I got sidetracked with my voice, I guess I should mention my other, account. I guess it'd be my personal account. Is Brian L. Bledsoe on Instagram and Twitter. So. Well, if you noticed, for the people who have been listening frequently, that this intro, normally I would just say all of that and kind of get to it. I am taking my time because, after playing that clip from the Democrat nominee for president of the United States, Joe Biden, well, for one, I'm guessing you've already heard it. And if you haven't, I would say you've been living on a rock. But look, I'm not going to act like everybody's heard that. But that was from a interview with for a show called The Breakfast Club. And he was talking to a black host named Charlemagne the God or something like that. And so anyway, but yeah. And if you heard it and all that, and all the response from across the board, really, and even on both sides in a way, where this has been the outrage of the past 48 hours, 72 hours, really, I guess. And I mean, for one. So I'm guessing if you're listening, you may think that I'm going to be the next one going to start, saying how outraged I am about it, which, don't get me wrong, I think it's offensive, as, and a number of other things as far as being racist and just, yeah. But for me, I'm just not as outraged about it, only because it's something I hear all the time. I guess this have really shined a light on what people like myself who are conservative, or just anyone that's not that doesn't agree with Democrat policies, progressive or liberal policies, whatever. This is something, if you're a minority, I'm not even going to say black, so any sort of minority that is not agreeing with these policies and speak out about it, it's something you hear all the time in different shapes, and forms and whatever like that. Because, for any person that doesn't agree with liberal politics, this is par for the course, I guess you would say. And sure, well, like a day later, like he apologized and all that, saying that he was too cavalier, and he's not taking the African American community for granted. But I mean, come on, he just apologized for being too honest. Because again, whether it's from black liberals or white liberals, whatever, it's all the same names. It's, you're a traitor to your race. I'm a sellout. You're a coon. You're Uncle Tom or Oreo or whatever. Well, whatever the name was, Samuel Jackson's character in Django Unchained and stuff like that. So yeah, I hear this. This is like the first line of argument anyone pulls out. And so, yeah. So this is something that's not surprising to hear. And I'm guessing Joe Biden didn't think twice about it himself when he said it. Because, for one, if you look at the numbers, I mean, you talk about a demographic that votes 90% for one party. So why wouldn't he feel that way? And also, if you listen to the whole clip, so if you haven't heard it, so it's from, like I said, a show called The Breakfast Club. And Joe Biden was on there and he was answering questions and whatever. And if you listen to the clip, right? It didn't even bother the host that heard it. Because when he said it, the host, Charlemagne, he came back and he didn't mention anything about the first part, about saying, if you have a problem between voting for Trump or, me, you're not black. He didn't say nothing about that part. He just focused on the Trump part and saying, well, it's not about Trump. Didn't even, just totally glossed over that first part of it, which that's not surprising either, because I'm pretty sure Charlemagne probably heard that and like, yeah, didn't think twice about it. He probably like, yeah, he probably thinks the same thing. He probably said the same thing to people like myself. Whether, probably haven't said it in public. I'm pretty sure you probably have said it, but don't know for sure. I don't really follow him anyway to even have an idea. I mean, I've seen some stuff, but yeah. So for one, Biden, like he said, he was too cavalier. He was too comfortable because he knows that's the case. He knows that's true, and he just kind of got too comfortable and just said the too honest part of it, as opposed to trying to be diplomatic or trying to be politically correct about it. And look, like I said, you don't have to be a Republican or a black Republican, a black conservative, whatever like that. That doesn't matter. Like, you could be a black libertarian or just disagree with with the policy of the Democrat Party. That's all that you need to do. Not even disagree, just question it, and you will get all these slanderous terms thrown at you. Because one doesn't agree with the economics of envy, I will say, or people who want to raise taxes to get money, from others just because they don't got it, or the self-destructive policies, to kill the unborn, infringe on our Second Amendment rights, enable the Democrats on illegal immigration, restricting our religious, freedom. I mean, if I don't agree with none of that, right, then I'm all of those terms, all those like the Oreos or Uncle Tom's. Actually, there's a documentary that's going to come out called Uncle Tom, which is, I think, like the subtitle, like the oral history of the black conservative, which I think it's going to be, it's executive produced by Larry Elder. It's got a number of people in it, people who've actually been on the podcast before. Brandon Tatum, I saw he's in it. Candace Owens in it, and actually, I would say a mentor of mine, Eugene Ralph, is in it. Which I was surprised. I didn't know he was in it. Like he didn't tell me he was in the movie, but yeah. So yeah, that documentary. Hopefully, we'll get a chance to talk with someone, the director or someone with the movie before it comes out, or at least sometime in the next couple of months. But yeah, you will get all those terms just by not agreeing. Like I said, if you don't agree with high taxes and infringing on your Second Amendment rights, and you want strong borders and all of that, then if you're on social media or anything, or if you're out at a protest or something, they're just gonna say, "Oh, you're not black enough," or like Biden said, you're not black. You ain't black just because of that. And I'm trying to make sure. I want to say this with all clarity, and this is all I'm going to say on this. So, hear me now. Biden and the rest can say whatever they want. You ain't black. Also, don't forget, he also was the one that said they're going to put you back in chains some years ago, talking about if you don't vote for Democrats, they're going to put you back in chains. So, Biden and the rest, you can say whatever you want. But I'll tell you this right now. There's nothing in your freedom-hating, high-taxing, baby-killing, totalitarian parasite of a party that will make me want to vote for you. My last Democrat vote was in 2004. And honestly, it could have been for a cup of piss on that ballot. Wouldn't have known. I just checked the D because that's what I was told to do. But understand this, that was the last time ever.
This is Trend Chat.
Hello, this is Brian Bledsoe, host of Trend Chat, also contributor at Politichicks.com. Here to tell you about the new book called Politichicks, A Clarion Call to Political Activism, with over 300 pages from contributors like myself, talking about topics such as education, social issues, healthcare, the Second Amendment, and of course, activism. I encourage you all to check it out at Politichicks.com, and is also available at Amazon and Barnes & Noble.
What's going on? This is Brandon Tatum, and you're listening to Trend Chat.
So you want to keep America great, but you don't know where to go to get some Trump-centered gear? Check out TrumpMug.com. And if you put in the code TRENDCHAT, you get 10% off. So at TrumpMug.com, they have flags, coins, mugs, of course. So go to TrumpMug.com, put in the code TRENDCHAT, get 10% off. Again, TrumpMug.com with the code TRENDCHAT for 10% off.
So, I guess after, like I said, I'm not so much outraged about it, but I guess just got a tad bit angry about it, I guess. But yeah. So also, and speaking about documentaries, actually, I know I mentioned about the one as you heard, Brandon Tatum, he's in this documentary called Uncle Tom. Oops, missed that. So you could tell it's been a couple of weeks. But yeah, speaking of documentaries, there was the documentary Created Equal, Clarence Thomas in his own words, which we talked to the director back on episode 163, the director Michael Pack, and that was before the movie was out in theaters. But it played last week on PBS on Monday of last week, and I remember, I put out all over social media about it and all that. Now, if you missed it, for one, given I told you now, you've already missed it when it was on then. But here's the thing: if you go to PBS, the PBS website, I think it's pbs.org, they're still streaming, so it's free to stream. So you can go there, go to pbs.org and watch the documentary to June 1st. So this week, I guess, to the end, to next Monday, I think. So yeah, check that out. It's a great documentary, and I really recommend it. And, check that out. So, and speaking of documentaries, just I don't have too much about this in particular. I didn't watch the documentary on FX about Norma McCorvey. If you don't know who Norma McCorvey, she is the Jane Roe in Roe versus Wade. And there's, I guess, been a bit of controversy because, like I said, I didn't watch it. I honestly just forgot about it. Mainly because I saw it was from FX. And FX just recently did a mini series. I think it's still going on Phyllis Schlafly. That was called Miss America. And I remember when I heard about this a couple of years ago that they was going to make a documentary on her. And I like, it's not going to be, it's just going to be another hit job on a conservative from a liberal studio, which it now it's from all the reports from conservative media. It is what I thought it was going to be anyway. And so FX has this documentary. When I saw that as well, I was like, there's a reason why. Because why would they want to highlight someone that I'm pretty sure a lot of people at that studio vehemently disagree with, as far as with Norma McCorvey, as far as being a pro-life advocate and all that. So anyway, after there was, I guess, a promo, a trailer, whatever, put out about it, and it was saying that she made a deathbed confession that she was paid to be pro-life, in a way, that it was all an act as far as her being pro-life for all these years. So, I was seeing the reaction to that as well. And for me, it was quite simple, because for one, this is kind of like someone that was a pastor in a church, or a very famous Christian or whatever, and then all of a sudden they announce that I'm not a Christian anymore. Okay. I mean, I will hope you would come back and actually become a Christian, whenever I hear those stories about somebody that's been a Christian, that's been in the public eye, and all of a sudden they just recanted their Christianity or whatever, that doesn't change the message. So regardless of insert whatever famous Christian that all of a sudden that is not a Christian anymore, that doesn't change the fact that Jesus is the way, the truth, and the life. It doesn't change that there's, as far as the gospel, repenting and believing in the gospel, that doesn't change anything. I guess for the people who maybe are following that person, they will feel some sort of betrayal, and I understand that. But in the big picture of it all, it doesn't matter. In the same case about this, so just like what I posted on social media, on Twitter in particular, I put, regardless if Norma McCorvey is pro-life or not, abortion is still murder. So nothing has changed. Just because she made, if it was all an act for her or whatever like that, okay, that's unfortunate, and but still, abortion is still murder. So that truth does not change just because someone else doesn't feel that way, and just because someone who maybe is got some notoriety out of being an advocate or whatever, that still doesn't change what the truth is. So yeah, that's all I really had to say about it. Like I said, for the people who were, have been working with her and all that, I can understand, and like I said, I haven't really been following it that much other than that, but so don't even, like I said, I didn't even see the documentary. I think it was earlier, past couple of days, I guess. But I guess since I'm on the issue of documentaries, I saw all of, the Jordan documentaries, The Last Dance, which was, that was a great, I guess, documentary looking back is on the championship for the Chicago Bulls on their last year, winning their 6th championship. It was pretty good. I enjoyed that. That was some stuff that I haven't seen at all before, and just some of the behind the scenes stuff. And for one, if people have been following Michael Jordan, his career, or just about him personally, for me, it wasn't shocking to see how intense he was as far as, and I guess in a way, bullying his teammates and all that, and being so intense and on winning and everything. That it didn't shock me. It was stuff that you've either, you even maybe heard from other players, that other teammates of his and everything. It was just that one part to hear it coming from him, and basically just confirming a lot. It's especially when it comes to how he treated people on his team, and he had his reasons for it, and actually got a little bit emotional about it when talking about that. Jordan was, when he was talking about, I guess, his methods as far as trying to motivate the team. So, but yeah, that wasn't surprising, and I don't think it don't seem like going to be something that would hurt his reputation, because I think most people already had an idea about that anyway. So just wanted to, I guess, like I said, I've been talking about documentaries, and so now I guess I will talk about that one. Well, also there's another documentary that I'm watching on The Undertaker, which it's called The Last Ride. It's almost similar to the Jordan one. Jordan was called The Last Dance. This is called The Last Ride, about The Undertaker, and I'm watching that on WWE Network. So all these documentaries, but I will say check out the Clarence Thomas documentary. Like I said, it's on pbs.org. Check that out. So Now, we're not even going to go to a break because I'm just going to go straight into this. Because, well, for one, because I've talked about this enough in previous episodes, last couple especially, is because right now, this is not so much I forgot to get the sound. I knew it was something I forgot to do. I was going to get a news sound for the inventory update. But I guess one reason why, because I knew I wasn't going to do much of one, because there's not much that I've seen, because I didn't really go into any of these places. Maybe once, I think since the last episode or so. But anyway, but what I've noticed is that, again, toilet paper for the most part is back fully stocked. Hand sanitizer is still very scarce. And also disinfectant wipes and all that, that's still very scarce. I see it, but maybe one or two is on the shelf by the time I get in there. And so I will keep saying, even right now, here it is, late May. I think this, when it comes to those supplies, if you want it, it's still what I've been saying still applies. You got to get there early in the morning, whether if it's Walmart or whatever. You got to get there when it opens. If you even want a chance to get some of this, whether it's like I said, hand sanitizer or disinfectant wipes, disinfectant spray, and all that. So, like I said, toilet paper is fine. That tends to be there. In most places, because I think I mentioned before, it's the rural areas in the country are still maybe a little bit behind as far as getting everything. So you may go to some, go to like a Walmart that's like not near a major city, and the toilet paper may be on the shelf, but it's not nearly as, it's not fully stocked yet. And also we have in a lot of places with like a meat shortage, where fast food restaurants are not. I went to one Wendy's in Minnesota, and they weren't selling any double or triple cheeseburgers or anything. Not saying I was going to get one, but you don't even have that option because of the meat shortage. And also I've been seeing that in the stores as well, where you have empty shelves of beef and certain meats and whatever. So but that's all. This is on the slow road to recovery, because we're getting back now. A lot of states are opening up more and more here and there. I'm noticing it on the road. And in saying that, let me just say this, because I know a lot of you have been cooped up in your house. You kind of you quarantine yourself for over a month and all that. I'm starting to think that on both sides, us as a trucker that's been on the road all this time, and I haven't been in quarantine like that, but I think both of us, whether it's the ones that been driving all this time and the ones who haven't and just not getting back on the road after all this quarantine, I think we all need a little bit of a refresher course on how to drive, because I feel like on one end, people like myself, or that were essential workers that have been driving through town with no traffic, has just been flooring it, going about 60 to 70 in town. And now all of a sudden, traffic is back to where it used to be, and they don't know what to do with themselves. And on the other side, you have the people who have been cooped up in the house, and they don't know how to drive. So it's just, I think we maybe need a little bit of refresher on that. But anyway, as more states are opening up and everything, and restaurants are at the very least, or having like every other booth is open and all that. So what I've noticed is, and it's something I've brought up in the last episode about, wearing a mask and all that. And I mentioned why I wear a mask and if you don't want to wear one and all. So I've gone over that. Like I said, that was in the 70-minute episode. I mean, I didn't talk 70 minutes about that particular issue, but still, it's in that episode from the last one. And so now it has become like a political statement in a way to not wear a mask or to wear a mask or whatever like that. Which I don't know. I wish it wouldn't be such it's a partisan issue already as far as the whole wearing a mask. And the government didn't do it itself any, I mean, it didn't give the benefit of the doubt for the government because they had contradicting statements about wearing a mask. So now yeah. Anyway, that being said, personally, like I said, I think wearing a mask is ideal. Just in places like Walmart. That's what I would just say. Because I don't wear a mask all the time. I don't wear it in the truck while I'm driving. I don't wear it while I'm outside. I don't wear it if there's plenty of distance between me and other people. Being on the road, being the trucker, when I'm picking up these loads, a lot of times there's not a lot of people around. And so we can very easily keep our distance from each other. There's no cramping up of people where people are just, kind of mushed in this small space. That's normally not the case. And so I don't wear a mask that much. The only time I do is when I'm in a place like Walmart, when there's just a whole lot of people and it just, regardless of the measures that they have in Walmart, people don't follow them. And, so the chances of, being, I guess, socially distanced away from everyone is almost impossible in a place like that for those reasons. So that's the time I would wear a mask. And now by saying that, you hear all the criticism about, masks don't work. It doesn't, there's no point of wearing a mask and all of that. To which I will say, for one, I think this has been a bit miscommunication, and also think there's just an aspect that's just not talked about enough when it comes to wearing a mask, because I would just, let me just say this, right? About wearing a mask. The main purpose of wearing a mask or any sort of face covering is to prevent you from potentially spreading the virus. Let me say that again. To prevent you from potentially spreading the virus. It's not about you contracting the virus, the corona. It's not about you, because most of these masks, most of them, unless you got like the surgical N95 mask or something like that, got something like that. But most of these masks, the cloth masks, whatever, they're not going to stop you from contracting it. But what it is going to do, again, is going to prevent you from spreading it. And when I say you, because one thing I brought up, before is the case of people being asymptomatic and or pre-symptomatic. And there is a percentage. And if you're asymptomatic, meaning that you don't show any symptoms, but you have coronavirus, but you don't show any symptoms of it. So unless you've been tested and know for sure that you don't have it, you could have it and could be spreading it around. And that's what wearing a mask is about. That's it. That's all it is about. is preventing you from spewing whatever that's coming out of your mouth from going further out than what it normally would. It just restricts that by wearing the mask. That's it. And I don't know why that is not talked about enough. I mean, if you look at, I guess like the CDC, they put that part in there. But I think that should be the main, it should be like put on the billboard or whatever sign on at your store. Like, This is the reason why we asking you to wear a mask. It's because either to protect people who are potentially spreading the disease because they don't know, because they're asymptomatic. Because unless you getting a test, you have no idea if you have it or not. The chances of that happening, who knows, actually, because being asymptomatic can range from a number of different percentages, but I know there is a percentage. And so if I am a business right now, because of people who are maybe asymptomatic or pre-symptomatic, to coronavirus, I would recommend them to wear a mask. If I was running a business, I would recommend them wearing a mask to protect those who are knowingly or unknowingly higher risk from contracting it from you who may potentially have it. Now look, all the percentages of all that could be low, but I don't see what's wrong with putting on the mask just to go to, if you're going to a store or something like that. But all that being said, I do not support any sort of government mandate of it. All these stores should make their own decisions, because I think, like I said, the whole wearing a mask thing has become such a political issue to the point to where if I make this argument, people think that I want some sort of government mandate. That's not the case at all. At all. I don't support any sort of government mandate as far as wearing a mask. I just think it's ideal. It's ideal for people to do it on their own. And now it's become such a divisive issue that for someone like myself. So now that I've in support of wearing masks, at least in some cases, at least, it make it seem like, oh, well, you just one of those sheep, or you just one of the weak ones, or whatever like that. You know what? And what I'll say, that I don't care. If that doesn't make me popular amongst us conservatives and others that want to think less of me or whatever, I don't care. If I cared about popularity or cared about doing, whatever it is I guess the trendy thing or amongst people I agree with. I mean, if we disagree on this, we just disagree. That's fine. If I cared about wanting to, not be criticized or wanted to be popular, I guess, in a way, I would just stay a Democrat and not, wouldn't have to worry about it. But yeah, so, if that's how you feel, okay, whatever. I'm still going to wear my mask in certain areas and certain times, at least for the time being. We get to a point to where, it becomes basically like everything else. If you get sick, you could just go, get treatment like everything else. Once we get to that point, then just it'd be no point of doing it. You can just live life as normal, but we're not at that point yet. So anyway, it doesn't bother me. Apparently it does bother some. Been seeing reports where people are just going off about having to wear one. Like I said, unless because I know some states, some cities or whatever are doing the government mandate of wearing one, like I think in LA, out there in Los Angeles. So any sort of mandate like that, okay, I'll be right there beside you in fighting that, wearing a mask, because I don't support a government mandate of it. So if you're protesting the government mandating wearing a mask, I'm right there with you. I think that shouldn't happen. But a private business, that's their business to pun intended, I guess. That's their business to recommend or even require people to wear that before they enter their business. And I think that's rational, just to protect the customers, their customers, just in case. just taking a precaution, really. So that went longer than I thought. But so we're gonna hear a word from the Founding Project, and after that, I guess we'll shout out the locations again. Something I've been doing the past couple of episodes, where we shout out the international and I guess also the domestic areas that are listening to Trend Chat. And also, guess I would also say, I don't use the word hate a lot because, for one, that's a very strong word on anything, and ought to, should reserve that for things that you truly hate. But, one thing I really hate, and I say that intentionally. One thing I really hate is hate crime laws.
Politics and other stuff, maybe. This is Trend Chat with your host, Brian Bledsoe.
Hello to fans of Trend Chat and Brian Bledsoe. The Founding Project, an education nonprofit dedicated to civics, invites you to visit our brand new website. Visit us at thefoundingproject.com. Be a part of the civics movement with The Founding Project. The Founding Project is a 501c3 education nonprofit. Please join us today.
Hey, I'm Amy Robbins.
And I'm Emily Valentine. And we are not
your average gun girls.
And you're listening to Trend Chat with Brian Bledsoe.
Trend Chat is proud to be a part of the hashtag Life Tribe of Cultural Life as they seek to celebrate life through the world of fashion. Go to COL1972.com and get 10% off your purchase when you enter the code Trend Chat.
All right. Like I said, the past couple episodes, we have been shouting out, I guess in a way, the areas in this vast wide world. If you can't tell, I'm stalling because I'm trying to find it. So we've been showing showing again, this is not video. We've just been bringing up the areas that have been listening to Trend Chat. And I just want to give them a shout out, because why not? Because apparently someone in these places are listening. So again, obviously number one is, as far as the globe goes, and the United States is obviously number one. I mean, if I ever see that change, that's not going to change. I can almost guarantee that's not changing. So, United States at over 90%, 95%, 98% really. But, so we have a percentage that listen in Thailand and Brazil. Speaking of Brazil, I think I just saw a story that Brazil is the new coronavirus hotspot right now. And President Trump has restricted travel from Brazil right now. I think that's what I just saw recently. So Brazil and also the United Kingdom. So they always are on there as well. Now, as far as domestic, at the top, which I haven't seen before, but I think I know why, is so I guess in the DC area, Washington, Virginia, so I guess Northern Virginia, Washington DC area. So that's at number one, but I think I know why, because I don't know if I mentioned in the last episode, I was part of a Heritage Action, promo that was circulating around about saying no to state bailouts, and I just did a little video for it, and I was included in that. And also, so I was wearing my Trend Chat Texas hat. So maybe that's what's, why it's such a high percentage for that after seeing me in that. And so after that is, Dallas, which should be obvious. I will hope so. Fort Worth. And I made that distinction. Dallas, Fort Worth, they're different. They're not the same place. So, and I prefer Fort Worth. So anyway, Baton, Texas, Baytown or Baton, either way. I think it's, I forgot. I remember when I talked to RJ Boatman about it, and I asked him about it, and I've forgotten which one he said is the correct way of saying it. But yeah, Baytown, Baton, one of the two. Rochester, Minnesota. So appreciate you listening. Lincoln, Nebraska. I appreciate you listening as well. Austin, Texas. I appreciate you listening. Even as crazy as Austin is, I'm going to say this, but I want to still see Austin on this list. I mean, I don't think it's no surprise. Austin is the San Francisco of Texas. So, and, but that's like most state capitals, actually. So it's no different than any other state. Now, okay. I do not know how to say this. Okay. Milpitas, California. Have no idea. I don't think, I actually got to look that one up. I don't think I've ever seen that on the, driving through California. That just kind of came out of nowhere. I'd really never seen that one. Okay. So, and the next one is Grapevine. That's still in the Dallas-Fort Worth area, North Texas area. So, and Lubbock, Texas. So, I appreciate all of those areas, international, domestic. Appreciate you listening to Trend Chat. And so, again, as I mentioned in the beginning, like, share, subscribe. Give, let's continue to grow this podcast. I'm not going to call it a movement, but, and yeah, so I appreciate everyone again. And as I've played the promo from Culture of Life right before, starting this segment, I want to reiterate that all of our podcast partners, whether it's TrumpMug.com, Culture of Life, or 1776united.com, all of them are providing supplies as well, whether it is mask or sanitizer, or even, I think TrumpMug.com even has face shields on there. So if you want some of those supplies, you can check out all of them, and you can put in the code Trend Chat at any one of them. That's the code for all three of them. If you go to any of those websites, you put in Trend Chat, you get 10 to 20% off on your purchase. So just want to make sure I reiterate that. And so kind of go back to what I was saying. Like I said, I don't use the word hate too much because I don't think, you should reserve that for something. I said that already, but so the one thing about what I mentioned about, I hate crime laws because I think crime is a crime. If you kill someone, that should carry a stiff enough penalty as it is. So to add the word hate on it, because I would think if you kill somebody, especially if it's murder, I mean, there's some form of distaste at least of that other individual. So there's some hate there anyway, I would think. But anyway, this whole, these laws, like I said, these hate crime laws, they just, I don't know. I mean, like I said, crime is crime, and just don't need to add more to it because it's already, you already have, if you want a higher penalty for whatever that is, then advocate for the crime in general. It doesn't have to be because it's focused on a particular demographic or minority or something like that to make it even more heinous. So, but anyway, the reason why I mentioned that is because kind of going back, I think I talked about in the last episode about what happened with Ahmaud Arbery and all that. And now, actually, I don't even know. I know it's been thrown out that the men who are suspected suspected of murder and that have been arrested for the death of Ahmaud Arbery, and it's being, I guess, considered to be considered a hate crime because of it. And for one, like I said, regardless of this situation or any other situation, it's just a issue in particular I don't really care for. But anyway, in that, so in the time since the last episode, there's been other things that came out. There've been videos of him in the house and all of that. And so the one thing out of all of this, as of right now, that the whole narrative that he was just jogging, that he was just jogging down the street and just these two white guys saw him and just wanted to kill him. At the very least, that narrative is not true. And just that right there. So that part of it all is, and even by saying that, it makes it seem like, oh, you trying to justify the murder and all that. No, I'm just saying that what was reported at first to make it seem like it was just, these white guys just went out just to kill a black guy because they just saw him walking, running down the street. That was it. He was just jogging and, let's just kill some black guy. That's not the case, because obviously there was other things that was going on. That doesn't give them the right to do what they did. But like I said, there was more context to the story. And so all that's going to be played out when, for the trial and whenever all that happens. So more evidence is probably going to come out and everything. I do know one thing. There's not trying to make light of this, but just this one aspect of it is funny to me in a way, because I didn't think this happened, but apparently everyone does it. Because when the video of him walking through the construction site and all of that came out, and I was just shocked. Like all of a sudden, all these people start coming out like, oh, I do that all the time. Like, I just didn't know that. I didn't know people just walk around people's, unfinished houses. I didn't know that was a thing. Honestly, I don't walk through a construction house in someone's house that being, constructed and all that. I don't do that for the simple reason why I don't walk in someone's fully constructed house. That's somebody's house. Well, I'm just going to walk around in it. But again, like, this has nothing to, as a commentary on him in particular, because it seems like I just kept hearing about everybody does it. Everybody just walks through a construction site just to look around, see how it's built. I mean, I didn't do that. I don't do that for, but maybe, like I said, maybe it's just me, and that's very well could be the case, because I'm, I just don't do that. I just think that, okay, that's somebody's house. I don't think just because it's under construction makes it any, that changes that really. But anyway, again, apparently people do it all the time. So that, as far as what happened there's been other reports as far as other things that has been going on. And so anyway, it's gonna play out on its own now. As now you have the arrest of not only of the two men who were involved, also the person who had the video, the first video everyone saw when they were struggling in the middle of the street. all of them have been either arrested at least, and guess so now we'll have a trial, and guess we'll have more information on this later on. So now, as we get to the end here, because we're not going to go 70 minutes, only because I'm just thinking about, I'm thinking about the last episode that we're going to do, because as of right now, we have an idea that we may have our last episode sometime, I was going to say late this year, but no, it's going to be probably early next year. With everything that's been going on, that may change, but as of right now, we're still looking at maybe our final episodes will probably be around, I don't know, February of next year. And so I'm already kind of thinking about what I'm going to do, only because since it's going to be the last one, I'm just going to go all out. And so by going all out, I'm going to try to do a 3-hour episode just because this is the last one. So anyway, the last episode was almost a bit of a test run, seeing how long I can just keep on flapping my gums. But so that was 70 minutes, and after 70 minutes, I was all right. I was like, okay, I probably could have used a drink of water, but other than that, I was fine. So I'm like, I could maybe do a 3-hour show for the last episode. So anyway, I guess the last thing I want to mention, I guess, and kind of going back about just about opening up in general, with all the states opening up, and just people are with all these states, some of the places are opening up. People are getting upset as far as the ones who want to think this is too fast, or thinking that how some people think that, they're just they're putting money in front of people's lives and all that they're that they should continue to quarantine, and that has basically become a partisan issue as well, because what you're seeing is the states that are opening up tend to be the red states, the Republican states, and then the ones that are staying in lockdown are the Democrat states for the most part, if not all of them. When I say in Democrat states, meaning for the most part is the like the governors of those states. And so it's been a partisan issue just on that. And I'll be lying to say that I don't think that that the reason, I would think the reason behind some of these Democrat governors, also the Republicans as well, it's all, I think it's politics on both sides, on top of the fact that of everything else. But I think both, in a sense, it's a kind of a political issue, because so like these Democrats, as far as if they keep everything locked down, they make the economy worse, and so that reflects bad on Trump. So that hurts his chances in I'm gonna say 2020 like it's not 2020, but it hurt his chances later this year, and in the general election and all that. Yeah, I think they're playing politics in that sense as well, and especially in some of this, some of the stuff that they're doing. They're just shutting everything down to the point that it doesn't make sense. But yeah. So with that, I just kind of wish we were able to get, I don't know, like the odds, in a way, the odds of either contracting or whatever when it comes to coronavirus. I just wish we just kind of like these are the odds, kind of like the odds of what they say, like the odds of getting struck by lightning, or the odds, or the odds of getting in a car accident. Like, what are the odds of you contracting coronavirus? I know the odds as far as what the percentage of dying, what is, and I know I've already seen some stats, at least on asymptomatic cases, that of the cases, according to the CDC, that it's of the cases that, that are been confirmed so far, 35% of those cases are asymptomatic. So those are the people that already been tested. So who knows are the ones who have not been tested and all that. So that's a pretty big number, 35% who are asymptomatic. But think about that. The people who are asymptomatic, who are confirmed cases, for one, they know, so they're probably not, going around. That they're either most definitely wearing a mask. I definitely hope so. If they've been tested and they know they have it and they're asymptomatic, I'm hoping they're wearing a mask, or they're just not going out at all because they know that, or have already been treated or whatever. But like I said, those are the ones who are confirmed because they've already been tested. So there's so many, that have not been tested, and they could very well, myself included. So, I wear a mask for that reason because I don't even know if I'm asymptomatic. I have no idea. So that's the main reason for me when I'm wearing a mask. I'm like, because I could be potentially spreading around for all I know, especially me in particular, or truckers in general, because we've been going all over the country. So, and some of us could be asymptomatic. Some of us, or just outright catching it and just having to be quarantined in our trucks, which is a thing that's going on too, because we can't, if we find out that we have it, we got to stay in our truck for 2 weeks, which is something else. So, but anyway, like I said, I don't know if I'm asymptomatic or don't have it at all or whatever like that, but if I am asymptomatic, I don't want to be potentially spreading it to people, especially people who could be high risk, or even maybe they don't know they're high risk, and unfortunately they'll find out they're high risk after they've contracted it. So I just want to give the common courtesy of just wearing a mask just in case, until I can get tested. And I know right now some places you're able to get tested without showing any symptoms, because for the longest time you wasn't, I couldn't just get a test, because the only way you can be tested is because you have to show symptoms to be tested, which makes sense, because you don't want to just waste tests just because. But I think we got enough going around to where people can get tested if just to know. So, all right. So, just wanted to say that and get that out. And, also, just wanted to say, I appreciate everyone listening. And, again, this is Trend Chat, and trendchat247.com. Most popular podcast outlets, your Google Play, your iTunes, your Spotify, your iHeartRadio and whatnot. Again, and I also mention again, our podcast partners out there are also providing those, supplies, I guess those pandemic supplies. And just wanted to make sure I mention that, 1776united.com, COL1972.com for Culture Life. Also TrumpMug.com. So you put in the code Trend Chat at any of those sites, you get 10 to 20% off. And like I said, they're selling, either they're selling masks or sanitizer or face shields or something like that. Anything to help out for people that are looking for some of those supplies. So, but they're not, they're not selling hydroxychloroquine. So they're not doing that yet. So, but okay. All right. We're almost back to 70 minutes again. Okay. Look, I did want to mention this about hydroxychloroquine, because President Trump brought up about, that he revealed that he's taking it, and all of a sudden you have the media out there, they're just like, how dare he's going to be taking something that's unproven or something like that, this drug that's been out there for decades all of a sudden, but now it's so controversial. And to be honest, and I hope people will kind of realize this, the only reason hydroxychloroquine hydroxychloroquine, I said it right the first 2 times. Hydroxychloroquine is considered controversial is mainly because Trump just said it. If President Trump never said the word hydroxychloroquine, and if he just said, I would just take it, I'm taking medication, or he just never mentioned the name of the drug, this drug would not be controversial. The only reason it's controversial is because he is in favor of it. That's the only reason. Because I tell you right now, if you flip this around, and if there was something, Democrats was in favor of, like, for this drug, the media wouldn't have any problem with it. They'd be saying everyone should take it, and they'd be trying to pass it out like it's candy at Halloween or something. So, but just because President Trump brought it up and he's in favor of it, it's just like now all of a sudden it's this controversial drug. So yeah. So, all right. Yeah, we're ending on that. But, again, appreciate you listening. Thank you for listening so much. And maybe next episode you'll hear your area on our list of locations in the top 10. So check us out, trendchat247.com. And till next time, we'll chat with you later.